Please welcome to the Leon Loft, Laith Al-Saadi. Welcome.
Well, hey, Rob. Good to be here.
Pleasure to see you.
It's great to be with you.
What would you like to start with? Do tell.
Well, I don't know. Are we going to talk or am I going to play?
No, you play first, and then we'll talk.
All right. Well, before I did the voice, I've been fortunate enough to make my living playing music since I was 16. And I think in most of my musical upbringings, I've been kind of towards the blues stuff. I call my music, I guess, soulful rock and blues. And so a lot of New Orleans influence, a lot of Beatles, Allman Brothers, the band, stuff like that.
The good stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to start with this tune. This one's kind of influenced by the Chess Records blues from Chicago. So if you hear some Howlin' Wolf and Koko Taylor, that's why. This is called How It's Gonna Be.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, let me tell you, baby, how it's gonna be. 'Cause I know for sure that I'm out the door. If you don't start loving me, I'm here to tell you, baby, how it's gonna be. Don't learn to love me, gonna learn to let me be. Oh, now you leave me early in the morning, come home late at night. Never give me no good loving, and you sure don't treat me right. I'm here to tell you now, baby, how it's gonna be. If you don't learn to love me, gonna learn to let me be. Oh yeah, yeah. For your kind of loving to last me all my days. I'm here to tell you now, baby, how it's gonna be. If you don't learn to love me, gonna learn to let me be. If you don't learn to love me, gonna learn to let me be. If you don't learn to love me, ooh, woman, you're just gonna have to learn to let me be. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. That is just pure joy to watch you play. You can see it's just radiating off of you. Thanks again. So we have people here from all over. I should explain briefly, when I mentioned this community high school in the intro, this is a very special place here in Ann Arbor. We do have two traditional mainstream high schools, and then we have this other high school. And my eldest son also went to community high school, also to be a part specifically of the jazz program there. I think different instructors. You were probably Mike Grace.
I was, yeah.
I don't want to get too inside baseball here for the people who are not here in town, but you were Mike Grace.
Mike Grace won the Teacher of the Year award from Disney. Just awesome jazz educator, led an improv-based, combo-based jazz program.
Yeah. So this is the school to go to if you're a kid in this district and you play jazz or you're inclined to play jazz. This would be the program that you want to be involved in.
Yeah.
And you were.
Yeah, in fact, I got credit for my blues band at school there. So we'd practice every day at lunch, and everybody would come around the window of the band room and listen to my band Blue Vinyl play it at lunchtime when we were doing it. And man, he had us working all the time. If there was a Rotary Club meeting, if there was anything that there could be a band at, we were out there playing. And I don't think they'd allow it these days with all the liability with, not having adult supervision, but we were really taught how to be professional musicians young.
Not true as of 2014. That's all I can
cool,
speak of.
man.
No, they were still. So that was the other part of this. They would take these combos that were formed in the school, in the program, and then send them out to University of Michigan alumni events or whatever, and make them gigging musicians. And they had to learn how to go, how to meet the contact, how to set up the thing, and right?
Yep.
And they did everything except settling up. Like, I mean, they didn't,
Right.
They didn't deal with the money.
Nope.
Which you don't
Thank
really
God.
want 15-year-olds dealing with the money. But other than that, it was very cool. So you touched on this. You were a blues musician, like blues was your love there. Your band, your own band was a blues band, but you were there in the jazz program.
So all right, I started singing when I was 4, and I basically, while I grew up singing choirs and doing all these theater stuff and all that, I mean, I really learned how to sing and harmonize and be musical and, by listening to the Beatles. And so I got to be about 13 and I was writing songs, and I just wanted to accompany myself and sit around and be able to play tunes with my friends and stuff. And so I picked up the guitar, not really thinking I'd get very serious about it, but I just wanted to be able to play chords and stuff. And I was in 8th grade. It was they wanted me to sing in the jazz band, but I had to play an instrument, and I did not play an instrument at that time. So I took my winter break and I learned enough chords to pass the audition so I could be the guitar player at Tappan for Tappan's middle school here. Anyway, I did that, and then I got really serious about the guitar. I started playing like 4 to 6 hours a day, and of course, at Community, you didn't have a vocal program really. You had an instrumental jazz program, so I just focused my studies on the guitar, and actually I played upright bass too, which I double majored at the University of Michigan, in both for jazz.
So then you went on to U of M.
Yeah,
in the jazz department there is also quite good.
Yeah. I do have to add, though, my band Blue Vinyl, we got to open up for Buddy Guy when I was 16 years old. We did some stuff. We won this Rock Bowl competition, and back then there was a club here called Rick's that actually had blues bands. Now they're like a total frat and sorority bar, but before they had great acts. So I got to open up for Luther Allison. I got to open up for Sonny Seals. I played at the Old Blues and Jazz Festival when it was revived in the 90s. So I got to play in 94 and 95, opened up for Warren, Gene Harris, and, Sir Mac Rice, who wrote Mustang Sally and stuff like that. So I really... I had a deep love for the blues and kind of knew that was the avenue that I was going to pursue. And I got there through the Beatles and Cream and Led Zeppelin and all that stuff, because once I started playing guitar, I wanted to check out who those guitar players were into and stuff. So it led me there.
So you're 16, and Luther Allison at that point would have been 70.
Yeah,
late
60s,
right?
yeah.
And you're looking at these people who have had a totally different life in a totally different era. Were you actually pulling stuff from them and watching them and saying, "Oh, man, I'm learning a ton here"?
I can't even tell you. That's the most human, visceral experience that I've ever had in my life. That was church for me. I mean, that was those people were so authentic, and every ounce of their being went into what they did, and they broke music down to the elements that it really is all about, which is you having your own voice that's distinct. I mean, when you listen to B.B. King, you can tell it's him by one note.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing about it. It's like, you know, when it's about those finer elements of musicianship, it's about you expressing yourself. It's about you finding your own voice and making it distinctive. It's about having a direct connection between what's in your head and, you know, what you can do with your fingers and your mouth.
Did you feel a pressure? In other words, so you're a kid up on the stage with these folks. Did you feel the pressure that I have to play well enough, at least, to be up here with them? Like, they can't be looking at me and saying, "Why is this kid up here?" Like, I mean, that adds a lot of pressure.
So I did, man, but I guess if there's one thing that's kind of good about me is it's weird. I'm more nervous one-on-one than I am in front of people like that. Like, I've always been able to get in front of large groups and perform and feel comfortable. And that's a blessing, because I think it's about the ability to not think about that stuff, you know, because really, if I let my mind go there, I'll worry about what everybody in this room's thinking about me and whether you like what I'm doing or not. And, you know, all this stuff, it's like, I can't do that. I mean, I have to focus on the task at hand and be able to kind of get in the zone and you know, become one with what I'm trying to do, I guess. So
I think they're with you.
Thank you.
What do you want to do next?
Oh, man. Well, New Orleans, you know, the Meters, Dr. John, all that stuff, and the blues down there really is also a big part, I think, of the music that I love in this country. And so I wrote 3 songs off my album Real. I did this album Real, which was recorded live to 2-track. It's no edits, no overdubs. For you audiophiles out there, it's actually a really, really nice record that I got to do with my musical heroes. Jim Keltner on drums, Leland Sklar on bass, Larry Goldings on organ, Tom Scott on saxophone, Lee Thornburg on trumpet. I mean, man, it was a dream come true that these guys even said yes to record with me. Jimmy Vivino on guitar along with me. Anyway, but we recorded it all in one day, and there's no edits, there's no overdubs, there's no BS. It's a record that I'm proud of, that I had out before I did The Voice, and I'm really thankful for that, because it actually was the #1 blues record on iTunes for over 5 weeks, and so that was pretty cool to have that happen after I'd put this thing out. So it got a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so 3 songs that I wrote down there. Let's start with this one. It's called The Last Time You'll See Me Cry.
It's the last time you'll see me cry. It's the last time you'll see me cry. I got nothing left to give. Oh, the well has run dry. And it's the last time you'll see me cry. I said one day this river's gonna swallow my soul. I said one day this river's gonna swallow my soul. It's gonna take me on down to New Orleans, straight into the Gulf of Mexico. I said one day this river's gonna swallow my soul. Give me just one last kiss before you leave. Give me just one last kiss before you leave. Well, I ask you to believe that I got nothing up my sleeve. I just want one last kiss before you leave. Oh, yeah, yeah. Give me just one last kiss before you leave. Give me just one last kiss before you leave. Well, I ask you to believe I got nothing up my sleeve. I just want one last kiss before you leave. 'Cause it's the last time you'll see me cry. It's the last time you'll see me cry. I got nothing left to give. Oh, the well has run dry. And it's the last time you'll see me cry. It's the last time you'll see me cry. It's the last time you'll see me cry. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
You brought that up. I wanted to ask you about Real. As you mentioned, the guys that you worked with on this particular thing, I think there are probably a lot of music fans here in the room. If you read liner notes, these guys have been played on thousands of songs.
They are
literally
my
thousands
session heroes. Yeah,
absolute session. And oddly, Lee Sklar has been on this show like several times.
Yeah,
because he's out on tour often with this woman named Judith Owen, who has dropped by numerous occasions, and they tour as a duo. He's been in her band. Yeah. So I've had a chance to talk to him a lot about the world of being a session guy. And I guess I was just thinking, given the talent that you have and working out there with them 5 years ago, did you look at them and say, you know, I could do this? Like, why not move? Because you did it in Los Angeles. Like, why not move to where these sessions are happening, Los Angeles, Nashville,
So I
and
actually
do that?
keep a rig out there. I had a good friend out here who wanted me to move out there, and he was on the Grammy Foundation, and he was president and CEO of Borders here. So he had some pull in the music world, and he really felt convinced that I'd be able to go out there and get studio work. And so I started going out there for these investigatory trips, and I play everywhere I could, and the studio work's dead. Yeah. Like, all the people that do the TV music are doing it on their home studios, and they're not hiring people out, and there isn't really much for the live music. So it's like, that's where as a musician I feel like I shine, because like I love playing on new music. I love bringing life to people's compositions or being able to like add my touch or whatever I can do to it. And it's like, there just isn't the opportunity. I mean, thank God I am in a position to be able to play my stuff in a concert-like setting these days.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's gratifying, but I wish I was doing more music. I mean, I used to music direct for theater shows. I used to sing for the Detroit Lions Pep Band and play for the Johnny Trudell Orchestra, which was a working big band in Detroit. I mean, I love singing jazz. You know, I love singing Sinatra and Johnny Hartman and all that stuff. So,
yeah. Well, Lee was talking a lot about how the world of session work had changed. Like you said, like there was a guy doing stuff on his laptop. Like he would get called for a session. And this is a guy who played on James Taylor records, like all of the classic James Taylor records. He's the guy who was playing the bass. Jim Keltner played on John Lennon records. I mean, and that now he was getting calls to come and put his bass, his signature bass playing, and he would show up at some guy's house, and you know, he had the tracks up on the laptop, and he would set up a microphone, and that was about it for session work these days. And like it had changed that radically. So. And it's a tough world.
He's an incredibly adaptable human being and up on that stuff. Like, I don't even think he minds how simple it is like that in some ways. But, man, it's scary. Yeah. You know, I actually used to get paid back when I was in college to play on hip-hop stuff. I did stuff with Old Dirty Bastard and Slum Village and B.R. Gunna out in Detroit. And I'd get hired to come in, and they'd have these samples of copyrighted stuff on their laptop that they had created beats with, and I would have to come up with bass lines and guitar parts and keyboard stuff that would sound like what they sampled but wouldn't be copyright infringement. You know, and then I was lucky if even my first name made it on for an album credit, you know. So but anyway, it's interesting, man. I mean, it's you know, I went through that here when I was starting to go to college. It's like we used to play frat parties, and then all of a sudden there was some guy in the house that could DJ with his laptop. It's like, really?
Right.
You know?
Anyway. When you were in college here at the U of M, doing the jazz program, again, this is sort of an interesting situation where you're studying something as an academic pursuit because you're in college and you're in that program, but you're trying to study something that actually is learned by playing it. And by the time you arrived at the program, you had already played on stage with people who were masters at it.
Yeah, that's true, but the music that's studied often in academic settings is not necessarily for the masses. It's not really necessary. I mean, now it's starting to be a little bit more accepting of pop, but really that stuff is stuff sometimes that people don't even necessarily want to listen to, you know, out of the general population. But I mean, you're doing it because of the advancement of harmony or advancing your own ear or getting, you know, I mean, studying your instrument further. So, I mean, actually, it's playing other stuff that you wouldn't get a chance to if all you were doing was going out and playing bars and doing that stuff.
So you like the pursuit of that, like to learn other things about music that you might not really
I'd still, if I could go for fun, I would go back and, you know, do film scoring and composition and stuff. I think it's awesome to be in an environment with so many different musicians from so many different walks of life and have access to great classical players and great jazz players and stuff to be able to, like, write a composition and have people that are willing to come and play it down for you without you paying them to do it. You know what I mean? They're doing it because they love music. So, yeah, it's great when artists can be around each other and create, I think. So, like, that's a really cool thing about college. And I guess otherwise I agree with you. I mean, I think I learned more on the bandstand than I did at school. I mean, especially in terms of practicality of being a working professional musician and playing the stuff I love, because I guess I'm a student of the song first. I really like the songs. Songs are like short stories for writers. You know what I mean? Like, they're really, I don't know, to me, I mean, especially being a singer, they're kind of the stuff that stands the test of time. And especially with what I grew up on, being, you know, the Beatles and David Bowie and all this stuff, it's like I really, I love that stuff. I think the 60s and 70s is probably my favorite, but I really have a love for the whole Tin Pan Alley, you know, jazz era too.
Yeah.
So
20s and 30s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, all of it if it's good, you know?
Yeah, right. I love this concept of going back to college for fun. I would do that in a heartbeat. I would be that. Can I be 19 again, too?
Awesome.
All right. What do you want to do next?
Let's continue with the New Orleans song.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Gone, gone, babe, I'm gone. Oh, Lord, got to keep moving on. I'm so tired of waiting so long. Babe, I'm gone, gone, gone. Here now, mama, don't you treat me right. Smell like liquor, you've been out all night. I'll do my best to keep out of sight. In the morning, baby, I'll be gone. Gone, gone, babe, I'm gone. Oh, Lord, got to keep moving on. I'm so tired of waiting so long. Babe, I'm gone, gone, gone. Yeah, Jack, don't look back. The train left the station on a one-way track. Spend all your days in a whiskey shack. You'll be drinking till you're gone, gone, gone. Gone, gone, babe, I'm gone. Oh, Lord, got to keep moving on. I'm so tired of waiting so long. Babe, I'm gone, gone, gone. Oh, yes. Hey Jack, don't look back. The train left the station, it ain't coming back. Spend all your nights in that whiskey shack. You'll be dreaming you was gone, gone, gone. Gone, gone, babe, I'm gone. Oh Lord, got to keep moving on. I'm so tired of waiting so long. Babe, I'm gone, gone, gone. Sing with me. Gone, gone, babe, I'm gone. Oh Lord, got to keep moving on. I'm so tired of waiting so long. Babe, I'm gone, gone, gone. Oh yes, babe, I'm gone, gone, gone. Oh, babe, I'm gone, gone, gone. Thank you.
That's another one, by the way, that you'll find on this album called Real, which is mind-blowing. Thanks again. Quickly about the voice, I do want to ask something. Coming from where you come from musically and what we've been talking about, can you remember the initial moment where you thought, I'm going to go do that open audition. I'm going to go there. Why on earth?
So,
where did you see yourself in
It's
that?
not that deep, honestly.
Okay.
Here's the truth. No slight to the show, but I did not watch it. And, you know, I did have a couple friends that had made it on. I went to school with a girl named Michelle Shamwell, who had been a finalist on there. And then also my friend Josh Davis, who's another Michigan musician who's fantastic. He had done it a couple seasons before and really stayed true to himself and played great music and sounded great. So I thought of it, I guess, as the best of the shows that I had seen in terms of the actual musicality of it and what you get to do. That said, everybody would tell me I should do it, and I said, you know, I'm not going to cancel gigs to go wait around a building for 2 days and, you know, audition. I mean, it just wasn't my thing, I guess. I guess I got past music as a competitive thing a long time ago. So then they sent me an email. And I got one and said, you know, hey, we'd like to give you a VIP audition, and I got a time to go. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. We'll just see. And I went and I played with a little help from my friends, kind of Joe Cocker style. I played Night Moves, and I played a Frank Sinatra thing. I played Fly Me to the Moon. And I kind of saw what this lady, who happened to be the president of the casting company that cast the show, wrote on the back of this big manila envelope that was her audition sheet. And I just saw amazing with 7 hearts next to it and exclamation points. And I'm like, you know what? This is going to happen. And I'm like, look, even if it's like 2 or 3 rounds, this will get me out there and I'll get to do it. And then I made it all the way to the end, which I never expected. I got to play blues on the national stage, which was something that I really felt very happy to be an ambassador for a certain generation, because like you wouldn't believe how many messages I'd got, you know, I used to hate blues, but you made me love it. And it's like, you know, I shouldn't be the catalyst for that, but if I am, man, awesome.
You did The Thrill Is Gone.
I did. I did The Thrill Is Gone. I did Born Under a Bad Sign. Anyway, I did Honky Tonk Women. I did The Letter by, you know, I did with a little help from my friends. I got to do the end of Abbey Road with an orchestra on stage.
Why not?
I mean, you know, I got to play with Joe Walsh.
Right.
Like, wow. So, you know, I dug my heels in a lot. Like, I probably can't really get into too much about the specifics of the show, but basically, you know, I tried to represent myself authentically because I didn't think I was going to win, and I knew I'd be cast out back into the world, and I didn't want to have an expectation of playing a bunch of crappy pop tunes that I didn't like. I wanted to play music that I loved, so it worked, you know. And I got to say big thank you to Pharrell Williams, who, like, actually, he was the reason why people crossed over and checked out my stuff. Nobody was listening to my original music or watching my videos online. And all of a sudden, he made a speech about going to buy my records, you know, and listening to my music one night. And it was like he wasn't even my coach. And all of a sudden, thousands of people. I mean, my album, Real, was #1 on the charts. My other 2 albums, you know, one of them was, what, 11 years old, 12 years old, and I mean, it was on the top 10 rock chart, you know, on iTunes for a couple weeks. It was really awesome. So, I mean, I was thrilled, man. Yeah. I was thrilled that there was a little crossover, and I feel like I've seen that out there as I've traveled around the country and stuff since. I mean, it's like there are just people that are, you know, they know my music. Sure. It's awesome to be in a town you've never been to before and see people singing your songs with you.
Why not?
Like, wow.
Right.
So
now, you have a show coming up.
Yes.
September 29th. It's a birthday show.
Yeah. My birthday's October 5th, really.
Well, we don't even have to get into that. That's fine. But I saw that there was an and friends portion to this. So it's you and other players from the scene here, right?
So basically, I'm trying to make this an annual event. And the Michigan Theater is the largest place, really, that I get to play as far as my own solo shows, but it's because Ann Arbor was a great support and always has been really for me, so I'm blessed to be able to play a room like that. But that's also a show that I can try to bring out friends. Like last year, I brought out this guitar player, Brian Stoltz from New Orleans, who played with the Neville Brothers and plays with the Funky Meters, George Porter, and I mean, played on Bob Dylan records and stuff, but he's just a great guy. And this year, I'm bringing somebody back to Ann Arbor who's been living in Nashville. His name's Al Hill, and Al's going to play keyboards and sing, but Al just won last year. He won the International Blues Challenge Best Solo Blues Performer, and he was music director for a great soul singer named Bettye LaVette for a while, and he actually stopped doing that, and he's freelancing a bit, but he's actually back to playing mostly his own gigs. But man, Al was somebody I was fortunate to play with coming up. He'd hire me for his gigs, and then later I'd hire him for mine, and I've always loved his writing, his singing, and his piano playing. So he's going to be a big special guest. And then the Motor City Horns, who are Bob Seger's horn section, but they've also worked with like Noel Gallagher and Thornetta Davis, and so anyway, those are good friends of mine, and so I'm going to have a 4-piece horn section, and you know, we're going to have a blast, man. It's going to be there's no opening act, so we're going to take full advantage, play a couple sets, and really stretch out.
Well, the Motor City Horns alone are fantastic. I've actually seen them sort of marching through streets and stuff, doing all kinds of. They're fantastic. What a great!
They're great
show.
Guys, man.
And is Al Hill is Whitley Satrakian, right? Is that his wife?
Yes.
Still?
Yep. Whit Hill. Yep.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, it's good to know. Good to know that all the home folks, even though
they're
they
down in Nashville, man,
and they're still everything's good.
Yeah.
That's good to know. All right. So that's going to be September 29th. People here who are close by Kalamazoo, come on back to town. You're going to want to see this show.
It's my favorite show of the year. I mean, for whatever it's worth, and it's a tradition I want to keep having. But it's just a great theater, and it sounds great in there.
Have you ever been to the Michigan Theater?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great place to see a show.
And I graduated from high school on that stage. I opened up for B.B. King on that stage. I've had a lot of big life events, so it was kind of that place was my big homecoming after I got done with The Voice and came back here.
Sure.
Got to sell out the hometown theater, which was very very nice.
So that gets to my last question. Why have you stayed? So many of the people you just mentioned a couple of local people who were here forever and went to Nashville. We were just talking. Ethan and I were talking about people who are in Nashville. You know, there are a lot of places where you could go. We talked about Los Angeles, and session work is tough to get. But seriously, what is it that you still take from this community?
There would be more opportunities for sure there, and that's the thing. Like, so I don't know whether I'm an idiot, but I love Ann Arbor, and I feel like we're such products of our region, of where we grow up and stuff. And I think when you have to go to New York or Nashville or LA, you kind of become homogenized with whatever the sound of the day is and whatever's working and stuff, you know? And so I'm proud of being from here. I think my musical tastes actually lean towards the stuff that I grew up around, be it Motown music, be it the jazz, you know, the blues from Chicago, or the jazz that I grew up around here with, you know, people like Paul Keller, I mean, and people from Detroit like Ron Carter and Kenny Burrell and Elvin Jones, and, you know, it's just such a great tradition. Then Bob Seger and Iggy Pop, and, you know, we've always had artists that are at the top of the game and relevant, you know, Madonna, I mean, Eminem, whatever it is, like all the time we have people that are really doing it from here. And so I guess I feel like if everybody that's good leaves, that just sucks for how great of a community Ann Arbor is. Ann Arbor is a wonderfully intellectual place. It has a lot of people that support the arts. I'm not going to lie, there's a hipsterism and snobbery that makes it so people don't really appreciate live music like they should. And I mean, I go up to northern Michigan and have bigger crowds sometimes than I do at home because I think people really are happy that somebody made the trip up there to play for them. Whereas here we just take it for granted. Oh, well, I can listen to this at home and I don't have to worry about going to park and, you know, the police or whatever. Whatever the reasons are, you know, I was still able to play before I was on The Voice 6 nights a week in Ann Arbor, and I feel like I've been supported by this community. I just love it very much, and I don't want to leave unless I have to. But that said, there are probably things I've given up in terms of having easier access to people that could further my career, and I have to be thankful that I did The Voice, because I think that provided me a unique opportunity to kind of get past this step where it actually meant that it didn't matter as much where I was living, because I get to travel around for gigs and stuff. So, like, it kind of doesn't matter where I spend my downtime as much. I just hope that continues, because as long as I'm allowed to be a touring musician or somebody that's playing nationally and internationally, then I think I get to live where it makes me happy. And it makes me happy.
I'm not pushing you out. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm glad that you've made this your home permanently. How about one more?
Sure.
What do you want to do?
Man, let's do another one from New Orleans then.
All right.
Well, tell me, baby, how do you feel? Well, I wanna show you my love is real. Oh, I wanna show you just what it means to be my babe. Put on your high heels, put on your pearls, put on your red dress, let down your curls. Woman, I wanna show you just what it means, oh, to be my babe. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Lord, I've been loving you for far too long, and I wanna show you just what it means, oh, to be my babe. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I've been loving you for far too long, and I wanna show you just what it means, oh, to be my babe. Well, tell me, woman, how do you feel? 'Cause I just wanna show you my love is real. Lord, I wanna show you just what it means, oh, to be my babe.
Thanks so much.
Laith Al-Saadi.